Guten Tag, ich bin Tony. I'm Mitglied in der Gruppe Falcon. Well, Deutschland is eine Exploration, so in order to have an in-depth investigation in this great country, we have invited a guest, a local German, to be our guest of honor. And here comes to Herr Wanneger, and this is Tim, my group member.
Yep.
Yeah, guten Tag.
Ja, guten Tag. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. Guten Tag.
And as far as I know, you're a local German, is it?
I grew up in the west of Germany, and at that time when Germany was still divided. I did my university education, so I studied history and German studies, German literature and linguistics at the University of Bochum, which is in an industrial area of West Germany. The steel industry has big problems, and the area where I come from is an area of traditional heavy industry, so steel and coal, and we had to restructure. All the coal mines have been closed since the 1970s. There are still very few running because, of course, coal produced in China is so much cheaper than in Germany, so even the transport costs are irrelevant. So of course you have to import coal from China. We have very high security standards in Germany, so that makes, of course, this kind of coal production more expensive as well. Steel is more cheaply produced in third world countries nowadays than it is in Germany. German workplaces are quite expensive, so because the salary is high for workers. At the same time, we have a very well developed social security system, so we have to
taxes.
So the companies have to pay for the pension scheme, for health insurance, so that is always paid 50% by the employer and 50% by the employee. And so this makes everything what is produced in Germany quite expensive on the international market. But the unification still has some impact. So the salaries in East Germany are still up to 10 to 20% lower than in West Germany. So my brother is working at a university in East Germany, and according to the pay scales, he gets less as if he would work at a West German university.
Okay. So is the economy in West Germany much better than East or the same?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because of the restructuring of the East German industries, they had to close down quite a lot of these companies because they were not internationally competitive, so the unemployment went up, and West Germans, like even my wife, has to pay a solidarity tax for rebuilding the East. So that was introduced in the
Is it the tax up to these days, and she still have to pay the tax?
So it started in 1990, and now it's already 23 years, and now they have already, the government decided to extend this kind of solidarity tax system. So every person paying tax in West Germany has to pay a certain percentage on top of his kind of or her tax bill to pay for the Aufbau Ost, so the rebuilding of the East.
I've heard that you have mentioned the train in Shanghai. Is it the technology of German? Is it
from Siemens? Yeah. So Siemens, the German company.
Do you think is it possible to have some exports from Germany, like the technology?
Germany is an export nation, so we live. Our workplaces depend on export. That is very important, and so of course, when you look at markets like China, if we continue to produce top technology and develop this kind of top technology, then this can be exported. For example, when we look at the example of coal mining in my region, so the coal mines were all closed down. One reason was because the government didn't want us to pay the subsidies anymore. But on the other hand, Our coal mining industry developed one of the most modern coal mining technologies, because they had to go really deep, more than 1,000 meters. And all these machines, some of these machines were only quite new when they closed the coal mine, and of course they had been assembled down there, and they just rot in the ground. So instead of keeping these coal mines open and see them and maybe use them as showpieces for trying out new technology in coal mining, and by then this could be exported to China as well, maybe improving the industry over there. At the same time, you have to attract people from all over the world to join German university education. By this, you have to promote German language overseas much more. In the past, especially in Eastern Europe, like the Soviet Union, German was the first foreign language they used.
They used German.
Yeah, there was not English, but German. And then after, and especially in Eastern Europe, it was strongly supported by the East German government. So they sent visiting lecturers out. They gave scholarships to students coming in to study in Germany. I met when I was in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar, I met people who had done their engineering degrees in East Germany. And with the unification, the German government and somebody cut all these kind of links. When after unification, let's say East Germany had in Ulaanbaatar, at the University of Ulaanbaatar, about 10 professorships for German, paid by the East German government. They were cut to 1 after unification. So instead of keeping these links and teaching the language over there, motivating students to go to Germany for further training, you can get the best performers, for example, in engineering, to do engineering degrees in Germany, and then either they continue working in Germany or they go back to their home countries. But by knowing German, by being trained in Germany, they would be maybe more willing to buy German products. Let's say if they work in a kind of whatever steel plant in mainland China, and they have been trained in Germany and they have to buy new machinery, maybe they would rather buy the German product because they know that better, or feel more familiar with that, or trust.
I think that maybe that's time for today. Thank you for your participation here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Danke.
Bitte sehr.
What is German for French?
Bitte. Hey, bitte.